you'll start to see that they're doing the thick construction and the walls are going up. And supposedly by the end of the month or the 1st of February, they'll start putting the rafters up. So we're really gonna start to see the shape of the fire station with the hope that it'll be probably a ribbon cutting ceremony sometime around 10/8 of 2025. So we're really excited about that as well. Appreciate getting to come before the meeting today, and if you have any questions or anything like that.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, new council president has already identified a mistake already. I forgot to do roll call, so let's do that real quick. Roll call starting with Diane March.
Here.
Councilor Fernandez.
Here.
Javier Geddes.
Here.
Jesse Geddes. Here. And Councilor Wright.
Here.
And I am here also. Is there anybody else who would like to come up and make a presentation or talk about anything about comments? Not at this time. All right, we're going to move on to the consent calendar. It's approval of minutes, December 12th, 2024, regular sessions. Has the council had a chance to review it all? Do you have any questions?
Well, I had a couple of questions, but I think that they will have to wait at this time. And I think that the only other thing I see the patrol car repair in here, was that what you commented in your report later in the?
I'm not sure where it's at.
The bill, there's just a couple of bills in here for the police patrol car repair. And I just wasn't sure what that repair was in relation to.
Okay. It should be, we had to purchase 10 sets of tires,
Okay,
and we also got them all their cleanup for the winter.
okay,
10 sets of tire, we actually got them on a government contract, so it's quite cheaper than if we had to get them a different way. And we actually went through the Ford dealership. We were able to get that done, get them all taken care of, and get it back to everybody.
Excuse me, anything else about council? Did have one question, Laura. One thing I noticed on here that's so compressed quite tight right now. I thought the budgets usually come out and they're usually more detailed. Like the PGE would say, state where the electricity was at, whether it was public works, the city hall, things along that lines.
No, that's never, as far as I know, that's never done.
It's not been any good.
That's actually done on the bills themselves, where we put the different codes, the GLs. And I don't know where Roger was pulling this information from, so.
All right, I just remember years ago when I was word before, so okay, thank you very much. No other discussion? Anybody like to make a motion?
I will make a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Second. There's been a motion and a second. And calendar for December 12th, 2024 regular session has been approved. Oh, we got to vote. It's that. Sorry. It's been first and second. We have a vote, please. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, it is now 2024 regular session. Consent calendar is approved.
I may interrupt.
Yes, ma'am.
If you guys can check your microphones and you remember when we were talking, we could do them. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Like,
It'll take a little bit of practice, remember to hit it.
I know, that's why I'm kind of like,
Thank you.
Thank you very
make
much.
sure they're on.
Around when you push it to green. Next item on the calendar is the bills list for December 24th. You just post those.
He said minutes and then he approved.
Yes.
Oh, Well, I made a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented, which includes both the minutes. Sorry. What I made a motion for was the consent calendar, which includes both the minutes and the bills list. So we approved both of those at the same time.
Does everybody agree?
Aye.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying.
Yes.
All right. Doesn't show to be any committee reports. Next item on the agenda is a presentation by the COG.
Do you want us to sit or stand?
Whatever you would like.
Whatever you're comfortable with. I'd rather stand. My name is Scott Danson. I'm the Executive Director for the Mid-Atlantic Valley Council of Governments. Holly works with us, so she's one of our peers and works out of our offices. And she's one of 26 employees that we have at the COG. We've been around since 1957. We're owned by you folks. We're a membership organization in ORS 190. We're owned by you folks, and part of what we do as our Council of Governments. Do I need to turn something on? No. All right. We've been around since 1957. Holly is on our team. And with me tonight is McCrae Carmichael, who is the Director of Economic Community Development for our organization. That's where planning sits. That's where our grant management, grant services, and other community development issues work. That's where our staff attorney sits as well. And we do run the legal services for about 14 of our jurisdictions. We provide, in some cases, a minimal amount of legal services, and in some cases, an extensive amount of legal services. It depends on the jurisdiction, what they need. Also out of our house, we do business lending. Just to let you folks know, we do business lending, and we also do transportation planning. We run the MPO in Salem. We're the staff to that for those federal dollars that are in Salem and Kaiser. And then we staff the MWAC, which is the Rural Transportation Planning Group that is in all three counties, Polk, Yampa, and Marion counties. And that's what creates the STIP plan that goes to the Department of Transportation for rural transportation. So we do that kind of work as well. But essentially, we're an extension of you folks when you need us and where you need us to be. One of the things we wanted to be able to hand out is the local service plan. We adopt that every year, and our board, who's your representative for small cities in Marion County, is Jim Trett, the mayor of Detroit. He's your rep on the board right now in Marion County. Woodburn's mayor sits on our board as well. So those are some of the people that you may interact with more often than not. But in our board adopts a local service plan, and in there, what we've given you folks, we don't expect you to read it in front of us, but we do outline the various types of things that we do. We wanted to just kind of do a 30,000-foot view first. The mayor, Mayor Wagner, and I had a nice conversation today on the phone. We just talked a little bit more in detail on what we did. When council is ready and wants to have further conversation about what your current needs are and where we might be able to help, we're happy to sit down and do that with you folks. You asked me to do it right now, I'll sit down right now and be able to have a conversation. That's not a problem. But otherwise, we're happy to find a time in the very near future and sit down with you. Like I said, Holly represents us here with you folks. She's actually been with you for what, 4 or 5 years? 7? Long time. I've only been here 4, so I can't account for her missing 3 years from now. So that's what we do. And we do provide those services. We also do city manager recruitment services. We do any kind of support structure that you folks need. We've been doing finance work in several of our jurisdictions as of late, especially getting those things right financially it takes more hands than you realize to be able to do it well. and get those things done. So we assist in that way as well. I'm going to turn it over to McCray, who might want to fill in lots of holes that I've created in my conversation. And try to fill in those gaps. McCray?
So McCray Carmichael, community development director. He really captured it all. It's just to let you know that questions you have about your role as counselors that we can support you with, we do. There is trainings available for counselors through LOC, but we also can come to council and do those trainings to support you with procedural requirements and then staffing. You can just come in wherever you all have questions, and you're welcome to call Scott, myself, Holly, directly, and we can answer questions and get you what you need and help you feel supported. And with so many of you being new, like I'd encourage you, like if you don't know tonight or in the future what you're doing, just ask. It's okay to just ask the question of what procedurally, where you are. If you don't know, just to take a pause and feel like it's okay because you're in a new spot. It's very quickly good. Thanks for letting us come. Thank you for letting us serve you with planning and other ways as you can fit.
Is there any questions, Mr. Mayor, Council?
The only thing I want to bring up to the council is I invited them here because maybe you don't know yet, but there's been a couple of changes recently. We just had our legal firm just resign 2 days ago. And as of last night, our city manager resigned. From 5 p.m. was his last time today. So we're in need of resources to go and help us fill those positions again. And I thought it'd be best to bring in the experts.
We do provide both recruitment and we do assist our members. When I say our members, let's define who our members are. Polk, Yamhill, Marion County. Our members, as well as 14 districts, including some fire districts, have been, actually fire districts started us. It's kind of funny how it started, but water districts are part of us, soil and water. We have special districts that are part of us, and then 33 cities in the 3-county region are part of us. So we're staffed for these things, always have been, and always have tried to work according to the needs of the city. That's some of the things that we do, and I think McCray made a good point. We do training. We have staff that can do training. We can do strategic planning with you. Sometimes it's just good to get you in a room and let you talk out what you need and have a third party who is neutral. We're neutral to you folks. We don't have an opinion one way or another for you folks. We just want to give you the best technical advice and the best technical support that will help you make the decisions that are right for the citizens of Jervis. So we provide those services, and our planning services. We're actually in 23 of the cities around, and there we do work in McMinnville. We do work here. We do work in Woodburn. So we do work in various sizes of jurisdictions. So our folks are well educated, well trained, well experienced, and we do a lot of grant administration, those kinds of things too. So you all have limited resources, limited time. And so that's why I use that extra hands. But you all, you're part of us, you pay dues into us. Our job is to support you. But right now you've got some things immediately in front of you. I'm happy that both McCray and I, as well as other members of our team, our attorney, our legal services, it may be something you may want to talk to someone shorter. As a matter of fact, I think your planner is probably going to need some of your upcoming issues reviewed by city legal counsel. So we might want to talk about that, for example, to at least get you good advice as a conversation before with some of your materials. Secondly, we can help you find interim help and support and structure and things like that. We have staff that can come in and help them. But the invite's got to come from you. We're happy to sit down and kind of work through that with both staff and council, and would be supportive to you folks. Anything else we can answer?
So in here, I was looking, is there a website and phone numbers and stuff in?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
So if you go in, that's a really good question about the website. We do have one. I wonder if we ever put it in. Gosh, golly. I don't think you did, but if you see the name, it says nwbcog.org. So that's our website, nwbcog.org. In there are all of our phone numbers. As I said, the mayor and I had a conversation today. He has my direct line. And I'm happy to converse with him as representative council and what you need in any way that you can. But we're also, you call us, we'll take your call, we'll try to help you through everything. And Holly really does know this place 7.5 years ago. You know, you can't doubt that. So she knows you folks and has worked with Kyle and your staff for years now, and can be a good resource. And so if you have questions, she's happy to take them too. We try to work them out on our side and get you in here.
Thank
you. Does that help you?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Holly actually is like a really good starting point. She knows your city well, and then she can branch out. So that's the problem to figure out how to help and who needs to get. But you can again contact anybody.
And all of our phone numbers, all of our emails, everything is in there. And we're subject to the same public information that you folks are. So, you know, all of our records are open to public, but we're always available to talk to you.
I saw a comment up there asking what the website was. I believe it was
www.mwbcog.org.
Yes. And that has all of our service. It has the local service plan on it. It has samples of things we've done with GIS, a lot of GIS work. We've done that kind of work. I think we've actually done some work here for the city and GIS with your water system and possibly your sewer system and some utilities. You're welcome.
Great, appreciate it. Thank you for the presentation.
What's that?
Eating my candy lately. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hold on. Thank you very much. All right, we will now move into the business agenda. First item of business on the list is the 2025 annual citywide cleanup. Last one was 20th of April. Is that correct? Last one, yes.
You asked about the last one, last year's. So Mayor, if I can interject here, the reason I put it on the agenda is, do we want to do the citywide cleanup? If so, I can reach out to the public, we can get some dates, I can bring it back to council, we can make a decision, and I can go back to them.
I would love that idea, please. Yes. Councilor Reason.
Yes. I think that's an important thing that we do.
And the next two items on the business agenda, the Parks and Recreation Committee appointment to the Vietnam War Memorial Committee. I don't believe we have anybody signed to that right now, do we? So I think it would be smart for us to already have a work session, sit down, discuss it, try to go in and invite the public, see who wants to come in and help out and get those committees back up and running, because it'd be good for the residents of the city.
Yeah, I think we need to talk about the actual committees we want to have versus ad hoc temporary committees that we have as well. So I think that would be good to put on our work session topics.
Okay. Let's go ahead and do that. We'll get some set up for a work session for that. Any other comments on these?
You want to set those dates tonight?
If you get a home tonight to find out, if they're going to be able to give you dates.
For the work sessions?
No, the work sessions, yes. Sorry. I was still looking at the first one.
Work sessions.
Typically with the the rules say is that, you know, our meetings are the first Thursday, and we usually reserve the third Thursday of the month as work session days. And so I don't know if we want to, that obviously is today. So, our next third Thursday would be February 20th.
So what does everyone's calendar look like February 20th?
I'll make you one.
It works for me. Just trying this quick.
I'm open for it also.
Open to that.
What time?
We usually do earlier because they can oftentimes go longer. So I think we typically start at 6. In the past, the council has started at 6 p.m. if everybody's available at the time. If that doesn't work, speak up. We can start later. It means that we may go later.
6 p.m.
I'm available for 6.
Yeah, 6 works. Yes.
That was next for 6 p.m. please.
So we're doing both, just to be clear, we're doing both of the committees.
We may actually do more of the committees. We're gonna have a work session on just describing and identifying what committees we actually want to have going forward. Any other questions about this agenda? All right, looks like we're gonna start moving into our public hearing, first one. So correct me if I'm wrong, Holly, all I gotta do is start with the public hearing script, correct?
Yes, sir.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is Brian Wagner. I'm the mayor of the city of Jervis, and I'll be presiding over this hearing. This is the time and place set for the public hearing in the matter of file number VAC 2024-01, public street vacation of Cedar Avenue between 6th and 7th Street. The hearing is now open. It is 7:29 p.m. Oregon land use. Button. Oregon land use law requires several items to be read into the record at the beginning of every public hearing. The city planner will review the material. Your patience is appreciated as she goes through these statements.
Thank you, Mayor. Council, we do have 2 public hearings this evening, and unfortunately, we have to read the script for each one, and I apologize for that. Okay. The applicable substantive criteria upon which these cases will be decided are found in the Oregon Revised Statutes 271.080 through 271.230. The specific criteria are summarized in the staff report and will be reviewed at this hearing. All testimony and evidence received during this public hearing must be directed toward these approval criteria or to such other rule, law, regulation, or policy that you believe to apply to this case. An issue which may be the basis for an appeal to the Land Use Board of Appeals shall be raised no later than the close of the record at or following the final evidentiary hearing on this case. Such issues shall be raised with and accompanied by statements or evidence sufficient to afford this body and the parties to this hearing an adequate opportunity to respond to each issue. This case will proceed with the staff report and any other comments from governmental agencies in attendance, followed by all those who are in support of the application. All those opposed to the application will then be allowed to speak, followed by those with general comments who are neither for nor against the application. Finally, the applicant will be entitled to a rebuttal period, including any questions the body may have of staff or the applicant. All speakers should try to limit their comments to 3 minutes. Please submit a speaker card completed with your name and mailing address directly to city staff. Please state your name clearly for the record. Please try to avoid repetition. If someone else has already expressed the same thoughts, it's perfectly all right to state that you agree with the statements of that previous speaker. Please be assured that everyone will have an opportunity to speak. If you have documents, maps, or letters that you wish to have considered by this body, they must be formally placed in the record of this proceeding. To do that, either before or after you speak, please leave the material with city staff who will make sure your evidence is properly taken care of. Prior to the conclusion of the first hearing on a land use application, any participant may request an opportunity to present additional evidence or testimony. If such a request is made, it will be up to this body to determine if the hearing will be continued. And that's sufficient for now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. With that out of the way, we need to ask the audience and fellow counselors a few questions. One, does any member of the audience have any objections to the notice that was published? None being heard. Two, does any member of the audience wish to challenge the jurisdiction of the city council to hear this matter? Nothing heard. Does any member of the city council wish to declare a potential or actual conflict of interest? Nothing heard. Does any member of the council wish to declare a bias? No. Does any member of the city council wish to report any site visits or ex parte contacts? And lastly, does any member of the audience or the council wish to challenge the impartiality or ex parte disclosures of any member of the city council? Not hearing any or seeing any online. City Planner Holly Byram, please give the staff report.
Thank you, Mayor. I think we've established by now, my name is Holly Byram. I work for the Mid-Willamette Valley Council of Governments. I serve as the contract city planner, which means that my job is to help the city council understand the decision criteria for the land use applications in front of them tonight. We have two public hearings. They are both vacation petitions. We are processing them separately in case there were any holdups with either file. But so far they've been going through the process in tandem. So the first one is file VAC 2024-01, and this is a public street vacation. The petition requests the city vacate a 60 by 220 foot public street right of way, and that's of Cedar Avenue between 6th and 7th Streets. On the staff report, on the first page, you'll see a map indicating the block that we're discussing this evening. I should note that this is a continued public hearing. We've held other discussions on the petition, and so hoping this evening will be the last of the public hearings for these two applications. You should know that your staff, administrative staff, public works, the city engineer and myself, as well as the fire district and utility providers, we work really hard behind the scenes to bring you applications that we can say yes to. We try to iron out the details and identify any issues before we get to this point. So by this time, these applications should be ready to roll. The applicant has worked really hard to gather all the required signatures and everything. So on the second page of the staff report, you'll see an aerial photo as well as a street view of the right-of-way that we're talking about. This right-of-way is currently vacant, undeveloped. It's grass, gravel, it's used for parking. And the petitioners are the 4 abutting single-family dwellings.
I'm sorry.
The request is to expand the side yards to benefit those dwellings there. Just to do a little bit of review about what a street vacation is, any resident of Jervis can petition the city to vacate a right-of-way. And Jervis, of all the cities that I serve, Jervis has done the most vacations, and that's kind of a function of your historic plat in your city. Most of those have been alley vacations, but we have had a couple of street vacations in recent years. So when vacations happen, the right-of-way is split down the middle, and then half of each of that right-of-way attaches to the private properties abutting that right-of-way. And so that procedure is pretty well laid out in the Oregon Revised Statutes. All the decision criteria are also found in the ORS. There's no local decision criteria for vacations. So what the city council needs to determine in their findings, there's 3 criteria. Has the applicant acquired all the signatures that are required? Have we provided public notice required? And are there any issues that would prevent the city from vacating that right of way? So I'll cover each of those briefly. In terms of the owner's consent, what that requires is 100% of the properties that touch that public right of way, and then 2/3 of the affected area that extends in either direction. When we say 2/3, we mean 2/3 area. It's a little bit of a calculation, and I've provided all the documents as exhibits to your staff report here. When we talk about what type of notice is required, city staff place notice on the property. We publish notice in the newspapers. We mail notice to the property owners themselves. And then the last decision criteria about whether public interest will be prejudiced, that always comes down to utilities. Are there pipes already in those rights of way? Do we need to retain any kinds of easements? Typically, the answer is yes. Most of the street vacations and alley vacations that Jervis has processed, we've reserved easements for utility purposes. So in this case, for Cedar Avenue, there are no water, storm, or sewer pipes in that right of way currently, but Public Works and the city engineers do want to reserve an easement in the event that they would need to loop a utility through that block. And so that's a 30-foot wide easement on center line, so that's 15 foot in either direction. There's also a PGE overhead power line, one running parallel within the Cedar Avenue right of way, that would be 10-foot wide easement. And then there's one running across perpendicular, which would be a 20-foot wide easement. In this process, we also identified a couple copper pedestals that are abandoned telecom facilities. And I think that Kyle was working with Data Vision now, or Data Vision, thank you, to remove those. And so I think they're working within their franchise agreement. So overall, the utility providers are comfortable with the street vacation as presented with the recommended conditions of approval that require those easements be reserved in the ordinance. And the ordinance would come next month after this approval tonight. So on page 5 of the staff report, you'll see the recommended conditions of approval. The first one states that the petitioner applicant is responsible for all the fees associated with recording the enacting ordinance at the county, as well as hiring that project surveyor to provide the legal descriptions. The second one details the exact easements that are to be reserved. The third one details PGE actually has their own easement document that they would like each of the benefiting property owners to sign, but they agree that that can happen after the ordinance adoption. And then the fourth one, fifth one, and sixth one is the applicant's obligation to record and then return a copy to the city hall. So attached to the staff report in attachment A, you'll see the actual application form as well as all the signatures that were submitted in this vacation petition. And then in attachment B, you'll see the detailed table of every single property, which was calculated in that affected area to demonstrate that 2/3 area was acquired with those signatures. And then finally, you'll see the map of the affected area. So that concludes my staff report. This evening, staff is recommending that the city council by motion approve the requested street vacation and direct staff to present an ordinance at the following meeting. I'm happy to answer questions now, or we can wait for the public testimony. Either way is fine.
Any questions? Are there any other members of staff who would like to add comments to the board? Are there any questions of staff from the council before we continue to accept public testimony? Sorry, everyone. First one would be proponents. I'll now accept public testimony regarding this case. Is there anyone who would like to speak in support of the application? None being seen. Opponents, is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to the application?
Is that pretty much?
Neutral, is there anyone who would like to speak neither for nor against the application? Are there any last public questions or comments? As a reminder, the applicant has the final word in their rebuttal. None being seen. Would the applicant or the representative like to respond to any of the testimony?
Mayor, if it's helpful, the applicant has provided testimony in the first part of the hearing.
Thank you, Rose. Would staff like to add any comments?
No, sir.
Okay, now, before I close the public hearing, are there any additional questions from the counselors or staff or anyone? As a reminder, once I close the hearing, only counselors or staff may speak. Public testimony is now closed. I will close the public hearing at 7:44 p.m. I will now entertain city council discussion on the application and or motion. If you council.
So I can tell that Mr. Gregory went to a lot of effort to prepare this, and I really appreciate the demonstration of the presentation, I should say. And I was here when the first time this was discussed a few months ago. My concern isn't that it's not okay, that we shouldn't do it, is that I don't think we as new council members know enough to affirm that right now. I have some questions I immediately have that I know we don't have the answers to right this second. So I think affirming that, giving away public land to individual citizens without having those questions answered would be slightly irresponsible.
So are they questions that you could ask the staff that we have available now, or are you still trying to form those questions?
There are trainings that we're supposed to take and things like that to be able to make these decisions. I would like to entertain some of those trainings and make sure that I'm doing this correctly before I say, yes, you may have 12,000 feet of land.
It wouldn't be just him receiving that land, but, yeah, no, I understand where you're coming from, in that needing the training, I guess, because I've had some of that, it kind of just makes sense in my brain, and I know that, through those trainings, it's once it gets to this point and staff says we're good, it's really almost a formality for us to be saying we're good.
That is our formality, make sure we're doing it correct.
No, I'm not disagreeing with the fact that you need that time. I'm just letting you know that, that's kind of.
I have a question. So you said the easements in this document from PG&E and Wire. It's approved that if they get, like, the people who own or want to own the land, it's approved that if PG&E or Wire has to go in, they wouldn't have to pay, or the city wouldn't have to pay those individuals. That's what that states, correct?
Correct. So the easements that are reserved would provide the city access to install, maintain, replace any utilities in that easement area. So the benefiting property owners could not build over it. So they could use it for, say, setbacks to another structure, but they couldn't actually place a structure over that easement. The city would need to retain permanent access for them.
I think the question was also, it says zero cost.
Zero cost to
To
the
the
city to.
Have the easement, have the access.
Correct, yeah.
So a question that I have would be, when it comes to this the applicant is paying the money for it, are they essentially buying it from the city, or do we give it to them through this process, I guess? Would that make sense?
Sure. So the cost to the applicant is the vacation petition, hiring a project surveyor to perform all the legal descriptions and the maintenance, recording the documents, like the ordinance at the county. But otherwise, there's no cash exchanged.
But the land gets added to their properties, which makes it bigger, which in the long run ends up giving us more property taxes.
Correct. And your public works doesn't have to maintain them as well.
Yeah.
New Year's, so why wasn't there a road, but just curious, does anybody know? Wasn't finished with there?
I can't answer this exact block. Both Public Works and the city engineer are confident that this road would never provide a railroad crossing through street. They know that we are pretty limited on how many crossings the railroad will provide. And so in this case, there's through street access on either side of this block.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions by council? Do we have a recommended motion?
I do. I know that there's some discussion, but I do make a motion to approve the requested street right-of-way vacation for the 1 block section of Cedar Avenue bound by 6th Street and 7th Street, and adopt the findings and conditions of approval contained in the staff report and direct staff to prepare an acting ordinance.
A second.
It's been motioned and seconded. We will now vote. All those in favor?
I
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Motion passes. Just go directly to the next one.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Then for the second public hearing. Good evening, my name is Brian Wagner, the mayor of the city of Juris, and I will be presiding over this hearing. This is the time and place set for the public hearing in the matter of file number VAC 2024-02, public alley vacation, block 58. The hearing is now open. It is 7:50 p.m. Oregon land use law requires several items to be read into the record at the beginning of every public hearing. The city planner, the city planner will review the material. Your patience is appreciated as she goes through these statements.
We'll go a little quicker this time. I mean, no disrespect. The applicable substantive criteria upon which these cases will be decided are found in the Oregon Revised Statutes 271.080 through 271.230. The specific criteria are summarized in the staff report and will be reviewed at this hearing. All testimony and evidence received during this public hearing must be directed toward these approval criteria or to such other rule, law, regulation, or policy which you believe to apply to this case. An issue which may be the basis for an appeal to the Land Use Board of Appeals shall be raised no later than the close of the record at or following the final evidentiary hearing on this case. Such issue shall be raised with and accompanied by statements or evidence sufficient to afford this body and the parties to this hearing adequate opportunity to respond to each issue. This case will proceed with the staff report and any other comments from governmental agencies in attendance, followed by all those who are in support of the application. All those opposed to the application will then be allowed to speak, followed by those with general comments who are neither for nor against this application. Finally, the applicant will be entitled to a rebuttal period, including any questions this body may have of staff or the applicant. All speakers should try to limit your comments to 3 minutes. Please submit a speaker card completed with your name and mailing address to city staff. Please state your name clearly for the record. Please try to avoid repetition if someone else has already expressed the same thoughts. It's perfectly all right to state that you agree with the statements of that previous speaker. Everyone will have an opportunity to speak. If you have documents, maps, or letters that you wish to have considered by this body, they must be formally placed in the record of this proceeding. To do that either before or after you speak, please leave the material with city staff. Thank you.
Yelling. With that out of the way, I need to ask the audience and fellow councilors a few questions. First, does any member of the audience have any objections to the notice that was published? Not seeing any. Next. 2, does any member of the audience wish to challenge the jurisdiction of the city council to hear this matter?
No.
Not seeing any. Does any member of the city council wish to declare a potential or actual conflict of interest? None seen. 4, does any member of the city council wish to declare a bias? None seen. Does any member of the city council wish to report any site visits or ex parte contacts? None seen. Last but not least, does any member of the audience or council wish to challenge the impartiality or ex parte disclosures of any member of the city council? Seeing none, Holly, please give the staff report.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, so this is our second public hearing of the evening. This is for vacation file VAC 2024-02. The last vacation was a block of street. This vacation is for a block of alley. These are more common in Jervis. And so this is the alley contained within block 58. And that is bound by Cedar Avenue, Douglas Avenue, 7th Street, and 6th Street. This alley is 20 feet wide by 200 feet long. So it is contiguous with the Cedar Avenue vacation as well. On the second page of the staff report, you'll see an aerial photo showing that that alley is currently unimproved. It is maintained as grass friendly. So once again, if this alley were to be vacated, it would split down the center, and then each of the abutting properties would get an additional 10 feet of rear property from that alley vacation. The same decision criteria this evening. Running through those quickly. The first one is about the signatures. The property owners submitted 100% of the abutting property owner signatures, as well as more than 2/3 of the affected area. The second decision criteria is about notice. Again, these were noticed in tandem, so we had the notice of public hearing run in the newspaper, posted on site, and mailed to all of the affected area property owners. And then the third decision criteria about the public interest. In this case, there are a couple different utilities from what we saw in Cedar Avenue. We have determined that there would be no street connectivity purpose to retain the alley. There are a couple of water service lines in that alley, and Kyle has provided a diagram on page 5 of the staff report. The 2 dwellings on 6th Street have water service laterals actually running through the alley from the Douglas Avenue main. And Public Works and the city engineer are okay with an easement for those existing water lines. And then we do have the PGE overhead line running the entire extent of the alley. PGE has requested to reserve the whole alley, the 20-foot width by 200-foot length, as an access easement for that overhead line. And then finally, once again, there are a couple abandoned copper pedestals from Data Vision there in the alley that I know Kyle is working with the franchise to remove. So once again, staff is recommending approval of this vacation, subject to the recommended conditions of approval found on page 6. The conditions of approval are the same as the last vacation. The required easements are detailed, and the applicant is responsible for recording and all the costs for the project surveyor to generate the legal descriptions for both the vacated area and the required easements. In attachment A, you'll see the application form as well as all the signatures collected on that petition. And then in attachment B, you'll see the calculation of all the affected area properties by size. And then following that is a map of the affected area. It's measured differently than the map of the affected area for Cedar Avenue. That concludes my staff report. I'm happy to answer any questions now, or I can do so after the testimony. Thank you.
Thank you, Holly. Are there any other members of staff who would like to add comments to this report? Are there any questions of the staff from the council before we continue to accept public testimony?
I have another question. So in the reason for the vacation, they went to put a shop, but not in the alley. What is the easement on property lines? Is that why they need that extra like 5 feet because they can't build anything?
Yeah, so the additional property that they would acquire, that 10 feet on their rear of their property, would then serve as the setback for the new structure. So there wouldn't be a building in that vacated area, it would just be their setback.
And how much would it cost us to move the water? Or they said that the access to the water, you said there's lines there, but they can move it.
Yeah, so to reroute those existing service lines to the front of those two homes would be pretty cost prohibitive. They'd have to probably replumb their connections there from the 6th Street side.
And that would be on them. That would be on the city.
The city wouldn't pay for that.
Right.
Right.
But they would have to do it.
If the city were to take that position. But in this case, the city is simply requesting an easement. So if there's an issue with the service lines, they can access them. Public Works and the city engineer are fine with the easement.
So what happens if there is an issue and it has to move, then they're forced to pay?
Either way, the line from the meter to the property is the obligation of the property owner. Yeah. So, and this wouldn't be a city expense if there were any issues on those lines, if that's helpful, is my understanding. I know Kyle's not here this evening. Is that the question?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe so, yes.
Great.
Oh, I remember. So, no structures, but do they fence, like, are they able to fence that in so that they each have their own, or does it kind of look the same when they're done? They just have own the properties.
As long as it's gated and access can be acquired 24 hours a day, I think is, because if they need to get in there to access anything.
Yeah.
Is that all for the council? All right, we're going to move on to public testimony. Versus proponents. I will now accept public testimony regarding this case. Is there anyone who would like to speak in support of the application? Not seeing any. We'll move on to the opponents. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to the application? Not seeing any. Next, neutral. Is there anyone who would like to speak either for or against the application? Unseen. Are there any last public questions or comments? As a reminder, the applicant has the final word in the rebuttal.
Question.
Sir.
Jose Luis. I have approve it, it's fine. Something about down the road, if we have some areas where we have these alleys that are big enough and there's nothing on it, no sewer, no water, nothing like that. Would we make more if we partitioned it ourselves and the city partitioned it and then sold it as a property? I mean, you know, that if we find these alleys that we can make money on. That's it.
Mr. Luis, we bother you for your mailing address, please.
Oh.
Thank you, sir. Mailing address. Mailing address.
Oh.
I don't have any comments on that. Do you, Holly?
Typically, when rights of way streets are created, they are dedicated to the city for a right of way purpose. And so it's not typically the title property that the city can then sell. So oftentimes it's not an option for the cities to sell vacated rights of way.
I'm sorry. You said often, what would be the exemptions to that?
There are a lot of interesting things that you can find on old plats. I don't want to back myself in a corner here.
All right, thank you very much. Let's move on to rebuttal. Would the applicant or the representative like to respond to any of the testimony? Would staff like to add any final comments?
I did have a question. So he's wanting one portion for himself.
Mhm.
Now, are we just giving the neighbors that as well? Okay.
Yeah.
So they don't have to pay for it. He's doing all the legwork and they're getting the land. He's done all the legwork.
They may have an agreement, but really for the city's interest, we're looking at the signatures and the application.
Okay.
If they're all paying for the surveyor together, then that's their private interests. Yeah.
Before I close the public hearing, are there any additional questions from the councilors or staff or anyone? A reminder, once I close the hearing, only councilors or staff may speak.
I guess I could add something.
And do.
We got you.
Don't you go there?
Now you're- I know how to find you.
Yeah, just wanted to add two comments that I heard. As I started the process, it went just provide off-street parking. Fire department. There are several vehicles that were in the street right there, so I went to provide off-street parking, give a two-car garage to get the open up the street. The other part.
Sorry, when we press the button, sir, you know better, sorry.
I think, Donald, is this when you put?
Now it's on.
Now
It's on. See the green light.
You want me to repeat?
No, no, sir.
As I started the vacation process and I started gathering signatures, my mother was on one side and Mr. Kaluga was on the other, and they'd all talked for years about leaving the out. As I started gathering the signatures just for that short portion, the other neighbors were like, well, we want the rest of it. We want this. That's why I let Holly know. The neighbors were requesting to go the full 200 feet because they would like to utilize that setback also. They wanted to put a shed or something in their backyard. So I just wanted to know, I went, did the 200 feet just out of the goodness of my heart to help. I did all the expense myself. I'm asking for the neighbors, nobody's paying for anything else. So I want to just help out the neighbors in the community, and hopefully this will have some pull up. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very
And I
much.
also am here to answer any question if anybody has a question.
Not seeing any more comments. Public testimony is now closed. I will close the public hearing at 8:06 PM. I will now entertain city council discussion on the application and or a motion.
I put a motion to approve the request for the alley right-of-way vacation of one block section of a public alley within block 58 of Jervis plot, bound by 6th and 7th Street, Cedar and Douglas Avenue. Adopt the findings and conditions of approval contained in the staff report and directed staff to prepare and enhance the ordinance.
And
A motion to second. It's time to vote. All those in favor of accepting the position, say aye. All those opposed?
Nay.
So moved, approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Just to prepare the council for the next time you'll see me, we will provide these enacting ordinances for you. Those ordinances are enacted and signed, the applicant will then take those to the county to get recorded. And that starts the process for the county surveyor and the assessors and everyone to be notified that those streets are being vacated. Thank you.
Next on the agenda is actually staff reports. Police Department first.
Well, Mayor, good job trying to put the coffee. We're all suffering with you a little bit here. Anyways, calls for service, 200, arrests, 0, traffic offenses, 31, traffic warnings, 10. You can see outside assist, 3, inside city limit, 9. New city ordinance issues, 11, closed city ordinance issues, 11. We all enjoyed the holiday event at Jervis City Hall. We wanted to thank all who were involved. Please forgive me if I don't mention everyone by name since there were so many who helped. I would like to thank Data Vision, Jervis Police Department, Jervis Public Works, Jervis City Hall, Jervis Community Progress Team, Jervis School District, and all the citizens who came through to make it possible. Kind of ran into some weather at the end and everybody kicked in and brought electric cords and everything, get lights going. It was kind of neat to see everybody working together to get that to happen. This year was the first year the Jervis Police Department participated in the Giving Tree. It is my hope that we can continue to do this in the future. I do not have the exact numbers. I know we can get some help because I kind of got a low number, and feel free to fill that in. Special thanks to, actually, we started with the tree with 30 names given us by Jervis School staff. Special thanks to Charlene Wiedemann. We ran out of the first 30 names within a week and asked for more names from the school district. It is safe to say that with the help of the Jervis Public Works, Police Department, School District, and its staff, Jervis Community Progress Team, City Hall, and the school staff, the fine citizens of Jervis, we were able to make well over 50 children's holidays a little bit better. There was 73.
Wow.
I shot low because I knew it was hot. Proud of how the community came together. Put its differences aside, amazing things happened over the last 2 months. We're looking forward to more community events in the future that will help strengthen the community and bring it back together. We're able to get patrol vehicles current, and this is where it comes with the money. Maintenance to be more prepared for the winter months. We had one of our 4 vehicles get some bad fuel, and it was being repaired at the time of this report. It's done and repaired. It's probably going to be fixed. We're going to be refunded by the company. They actually was really a good community partner with us. There's an issue with the gas. It's just getting taken care of. Not sure who.
Okay, that's fine. Just curious.
I don't know if it'd be right to say, I'm not sure. But they were very good with us. We are looking for cost-effective ways and ideas to replace some of the patrol fleet. One of our vehicles is a 2010 Dodge Charger that has served the community well. However, as it ages, the cost of the repairs is not cost-effective and challenges the ability to have a fleet of safe, dependable vehicles to provide the proper service to the community. We're looking at grants to help purchase vehicles. We're also looking at leasing options and even looking at the options of getting taking care of patrol vehicles from other agencies. We had a training this month with the Marion County Medical Examiner. That was actually yesterday. It was with the medical examiner's office with their death investigation unit and such. We'll be hosting more trainings and inviting other local agencies to attend that we can. This is another free training that we're able to host. We had with about 15 people from our department and other local departments. And recently, Officer Greiton has taken a position with Marion County Sheriff's Office. We're sad to lose her, but we are happy that she will gain more experience with the county, and you'll still see her around, I'm sure. As always, the Jervis Police Department is honored to be serving the citizens of Jervis and greatly appreciate all your support as we continue to strive forward to improve the service we provide. And one quick thing I wanted to add with I think it was $1,100. That is mainly just the tires. That was 10 individual tires. We had one of our patrol vehicles that had a slash. We don't know how, but we had to replace 2 of the tires to keep them level. So we had 2 cars with brand new tires, and the other one had 2 on it because those are fairly new too. Also, that was about $1,100 for 10 tires, which is pretty good.
All right, thank you very much. You said Cal's not here, but he did leave a presentation for us. Councilor, get a chance to read it. Okay. As the city manager went ahead and resigned today, we will not have staff report from the city manager. So we'll move on to the business of the mayor and council. As for myself, I want to let everybody know that, as Mr. Geddes said over here, we all want to get as much training as possible so we can support the city, make sure we're following the proper rules and regulations in order to support the city properly and all the residents. So that is a priority in my eyes. Besides the work session we already talked about setting up, we are more than likely going to have a special session sometime very soon, so we can go ahead and start discussing opportunities for a new city manager and also a new legal firm. I've had plenty of people reaching out in contact. Of course, I'm going to be discussing it with the COG. That's why they were brought in to talk about this. But be prepared, there's probably going to be a special session set up sometime soon for this.
Mr. Mayor, one of the things I'd recommend you do is if the city manager and the city attorney have resigned, I would recommend that the board accept those resignations if they're so inclined to do so. That way it's on the record of council, and then you can fully move forward on the next move.
Thank you for that. That's a great idea.
Well, thank all of you. Only as good as the people I work.
For the council's awareness, our legal firm and Ed Drumke went ahead and sent the resignation letter to me and Roger Brown the day before yesterday. And then last night around 5:30 p.m., I received the resignation letter from our city manager. I responded to both saying I validated the receiving of them. Thank you very much. Everyone's following season to help you in your future endeavors. But as suggested, I'd like the council to go ahead and identify that the resignations have been received.
And accept it.
And accept it. Thank you.
Or you just say.
Do you want to vote on the
motion to receive? Is that all you're saying?
Make motion. Make motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept the resignations of both Roger Brown and Trump.
Second.
We have a motion and it's been seconded. Can I please get a vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? So passed. We accept it. Thank you very much. And that is it, at least for the mayor's business. Anything from the council?
really anything else, on my end. You talked about the training. I've got February 5th, that Wednesday. I know, I think somebody else, were you gonna do that with me? Somebody,
February 13th, that one.
was it February 13th? Maybe I have it on my calendar wrong.
It's February 13th.
Okay, February 13th, I will move it on my calendar, doing that all day, training with the LOC.
Minutes.
The League of Oregon Cities training is February 5th. Yeah.
I signed up for one. Is the COG on the 13th?
I think it's the regional meeting is on the 13th over in Independence.
There is the small cities.
Yes.
Like Scott was referring to, that small cities that Mayor Trett serves on is in Independence on the 13th.
So I guarantee you I've been signing up for a lot of training sessions, so I know that one.
But the training session is from 8 to 5 in Salem.
Well, and I think that the Salem one was full, so I signed up for Zoom.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you guys would be a good option, or
We could post the Zoom.
We could host a Zoom for you, and we'd be happy to call LLC too. You all are a new council. That's what they've got. They've got overflow of new council members coming in.
Yeah.
well, and that was my question is, can we all get together and see one Zoom and not be
Sure.
considered a meeting at that point?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. If you're in a meeting together like that, you need to make an announcement that you're going to training.
Okay.
That you'll be there together as a council. It lets the public know where you're at when you're a body
Right.
elected. So
So does
I
it
think
have
that's
to
just
be open to
transparency.
everybody else? Like,
no, it's not the same as that, but you're letting everyone know that you're going to a conference, you're going to a training together, and you'll be together. No action will be taken. You're just there.
okay, kind of almost like a work session. Just
Yeah.
We'll just post that on the website, city website.
Yep.
Thank you.
And just a reminder, while you're there, you probably don't want to discuss any city.
Yes.
No, never will. Nothing from the council? Okay, as we have no one here for an executive session, we will strike that from the list. And the return session, that's struck from the list also. So. It is 8:19 on the 16th. And I now call this meeting adjourned.
How you doing?
This one.
Yeah, well. Yeah, there's no tension. Like, well.
And then also, we're gonna have that procedures for.
And so. Down there's that.
And then it's very important when we have to be in the community. Don't say we're not invited. Yeah, that's what's there. They're not.
Yes.
Sneaks out.
Yes.
So we'll out so that they can check out. City staff.
I know, next to make sure you look good.
Oh, the one that we got. Is that what?
How old are you, sir?
So that you can.
The recorders.
You have that stuff.
Say, you did this training.
Okay, I just know, I went to a training down in.
Next step, next step.
Well, they are training for newly elected officials. That's the.
Yeah, that's when you asked me that. And you don't answer, I want to go, and I said, well, just do the rest of it.
Oh, no. I mean, it's on their website.
Okay.
The second, next step.
Okay. So, yeah.
Looks.
Yep, exactly.
You know, 'cause
You guys figure out.
Yep, and I think,
I'm looking through the charter.
the wet top sheet right here.
Oh, he said that.
So in that, we'll make sure that we're, but gets you these.
Well,
you.